Well, hey, I'm going to switch gears a little bit this morning, and I want to talk about something that hopefully some of you may have seen this before, but if not, we're going to go through it. And this is something that I would encourage you. You know, Mike always talks about having content for your videos. This is a content video. Now, you're welcome to just take what I'm doing and post that, but no, I would encourage you to do what most of you do anyway, is make this your own. Just take this information and make it your own. That's what it's there for. Because you don't need me to be the expert. I need to be the expert in front of you. You need to be the expert in front of your clients, your buyers and sellers. This is the kind of thing that will help them understand how real estate, the purchase of real estate, helps you grow wealth. You know, we've all heard it said, real estate will help you grow wealth. People don't understand exactly what that means. So this is a little bit of a chart that shows it in a very simplistic way. So let's start up here. We're going to talk about a $20,000 investment. So $20,000 that you or I are going to put into some type of investment. There are three different types of investments that I'm using. Putting it into a savings account, put it into stocks, or put it into a home for $350,000. Now, let's take a look at the bank. I said that the bank's interest rate is going to be approximately 4%. Now, right now you can actually get a little bit more than that. You can actually go to about 4.5, maybe even 4.9. But prior to this year, you couldn't get that above about 1%. And if you were looking at this a year and a half ago, this was like 0.1%. So I think using 4% is pretty generous out of the savings account if you look at it over time. So let's just do that. So what this says is year one, if you put $20,000 into the savings account at a 4% gain at the end of the year, you'd have $20,900. Now, let's take that same $20,000 and put it into the stock market. Now, any of you who are in the stock market right now, like I have been for the last, however long, we're not making any money in the stock market. I just want to get back to even from November of 2021 would be wonderful. But let's give the stock market a break and say, hey, over a longer period of time, a 5% gain in its first year. So $20,000 with a 5% gain. At the end of year one, if it had the 5% gain, you'd have $21,000 versus $20,800. So pretty close to the same. Now, you buy a home for $350,000. This is the part people don't realize. This percentage, and look at how small I'm using. I'm using 3% growth. Not 4, not 8, not 20, like we had over, that 20% is ridiculous. I'm just using as low as I can. I'm using a 3% annual growth rate. What if it's 6? These numbers start doubling. But that same $20,000 investment, you don't get 5% on $20,000. You get 3% on $350,000. That's the piece that people don't understand. That's why you grow wealth. At the end of 1 year, that $20,000 investment is now worth $30,500 compared to $20,800 compared to $21,000. And that's if we only grow at a 3% rate. Now let's look at year number 2. Year number 2, again, another 4%. 4% growth on $20,800 because you don't take any money out. Year 2, it's $21,632. If the stock market now goes up to 7% growth rather than 5%, that $20,000 is now worth $22,470. Now, here's the interesting thing. Again, imagine this. This 3% is no longer on $350,000. This 3% is on $360,500. So 3% on 360,500 is now going to, just 3% growth, folks. That's it. Means at the end of year number 2, our $20,000 investment is now worth, in terms of our wealth, $41,315. 21,600, 22,400, 41,315. Now, $20,000 investment up here, year 2, year 3. Again, 4% on 21,632. Now you're going to be at the end of year number 3, 22,497. Versus, now I went up another percent for the stock market, taking it to 24,268. But look at this, just 3% growth. And we're at $54,454 versus 24. This is over double. Your $20,000 investment, bank account, stocks, house. Look at the difference. Take it out to year number 4. Assuming that people can take $20,000, stick it into a savings account, and not touch it for 4 years. What's the probability of that for most people? And I see you shaking your heads. No. But let's say they did. They'd have $23,000, just shy of $23,400 in the account. If they kept it in the stock market and it grew another 8%, they'd have $26,209. But if they would have bought a house for $350,000, invested $20,000, 4 years later, if all it did is 3% growth, and there's not a soul in this room that believes you're going to grow by 3%, we're going to grow somewhere between 4 to maybe 8%. Except over the next 6 or 7 months, we'll probably see another 10 or 12% growth with what's going on in the market. I'll talk about that in a minute. But look at this, $63,928 of wealth that we've gained on a $20,000 investment that only grows at 3% a year. The same $20,000. Look at this. Does it take a rocket scientist to figure out that this is a better number than this and this? Rip.
So to show that, I guess you really need to, though, hit on the part of you're going to have a housing expense regardless. Because really, that first year, you're paying 31 grand in mortgage, and after 4 years, you paid 120 grand in mortgage costs.
Right.
So then it's not as, the naysayers will go, yeah, but this is.
Well, you're paying rent. You're either paying a house payment or you're paying rent.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean.
You got to point that out.
Yeah, we're assuming it's a wash.
Right. We're assuming that the house payment, rent payment is about the same.
Yeah.
And what I'm not taking into consideration here, even if the house payment's not exactly the same, say the house payment's a little bit higher, well, guess what? You've got 4 years of amortization that goes into this pie. There is, unless mom and dad let you rent free, or unless you've got some kind of grandfathered rent that's dirt cheap, there is no possible way to beat this. You can't. Now, Casey and I have a client who, he's got a lot of money. He's, 47 or 48 years old, somewhere around there, never bought a house, single, and he's got a lot of money in the bank. He's deathly afraid of investing. He won't invest in stocks. He won't invest in a house. He's finally going to make an investment in a house, finally. And I've gone over this with him. Casey's gone over this with him. He's finally going to make an investment in a house. And he's still afraid. Yep. Over the last 20 years, he's been saving money. He has a whopping...
Yeah, I can speak to it. Yeah, he has about $350,000 in the bank.
And he's been saving his entire life.
And what's helped him is that he's literally been in that rental situation where his monthly housing expenses have been
$500 a month.
For the last
and he makes over $150,000 a year.
That's a good rate.
So think about that. So his is one of the examples that this might be tough on because he's only paying $500 a month for the last 20 years. But he just found out that his rent's going up, and now he's panicked.
It's like 600 now.
All right, so now he's gonna spend 200 of his 350 to buy himself a house. You know, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever it takes. But this is real. These are real numbers. Now, here's the thing. You can figure this one out yourself. What if this 3% over time, over 4 years, is actually at 6? You start looking at what this number is, and all of a sudden, because I was generous here. Now stocks, honestly, if you didn't buy any stocks until just right now versus November of 2021, you could see easily this kind of growth and maybe even more over the next 12 to 18 months. You could, all right?
If you get somebody that comes back and says, I don't think that we're going to see that amount of appreciation. Like he's doing 3 so he could lowball it, but actuality it's like 6, and that's historical. And
but multiply these numbers out. If it is 6%, this is huge. I mean, you're talking about almost $100,000 for the same $20,000 investment. Now, I want to point out something that's happening. I asked for a reason. Did anybody have anything kind of weird happen over the weekend on a buying situation or selling situation? Because I had 2 situations occur, which I thought were unique to talk about because it's coming. In fact, it's not even coming, it's here. 2 situations. Now, the first one, house is on the market for $575,000 in Alpharetta. All right, $575,000, quarter-acre lot in a subdivision, nice home. I don't want to call it perfect, but I'm going to say it's nice because it was very nice. All right, clients went in, $575,000. Clients went in with a $580,000 offer. Within 2 hours, they were rejected because they had 5 other offers over the $580,000 that my clients offered. All right? That's what's happening. That is absolutely what is happening right now. Another one. I'm trying to remember the listing price. I don't remember the listing price. I think it was around $650,000. My clients put in an offer of $670,000, $20,000 over. They waited until after the weekend before they got a note from the listing agent that thank you, but no thank you, because somebody else came in a little bit above them with a completely cash offer. I mean, does that sound like 2021? A little bit? How much did home prices go up in 2021? I don't want home prices to go up 20%. I don't. It's not good for the market. But do you think it's reasonable to assume that what Casey said a little bit ago is that this is so understated that we may see double digits this year, 10%, maybe 11%? Bill?
Yeah, so this was a couple weeks ago in my neighborhood, in a house. They bought it 2 years ago for $1.18 million, let's say, which is way over the other costs. Like, the next highest cost is probably maybe $750,000, $800,000 in our neighborhood. They bought it for 1.18. They did some work, like they're dumpstered there a lot, so I'm not sure what all they did to it. Went through a divorce. They just listed it 2 weeks ago, and it was $1,799,000.
Oh my gosh!
$600,000. So that it went on. They had an open house Saturday and Sunday. I dropped by the open house because I had one client who was a potential buyer, but the yard wasn't good enough or whatever, and I just wanted to see it. Like, I want to walk through it and see what and it's beautiful. They did a great job. Well, I had someone else call me on Monday saying, hey, we may want to take a look at that. So I tried to set up through showing time. It wouldn't set up, so I called the agent. Under contract, it sold, they closed in 10 days cash.
Wow. Cash.
I mean,
I
it's
told my
just
wife not to
like,
make
I don't know
that
how you
purchase.
fight it.
I am,
Right,
I
you
had
can't
one
fight that. Like,
sort of like that. They bought the house 4 years ago at $350. We listed it at $740. I sold it at $820 cash
was that just recently?
a month ago.
Month ago. I'm telling you,
It took us 40 days.
I am telling you, this here, we have got to get the word out on this, because people got to take this investment and put it into something that's going to grow wealth. People are saying, but Greg, I can't afford the house. Don't buy one for $400,000. Buy one for $300,000. It might need a little bit of work. Who cares? Get your money into your best possible investment. That's what people, Greg, I can't, they've gone over. No. You got to tone back what you're looking for. Just before I walked into Huddle, I got a call, and I already know what the call is going to be about. It's a client who had a house under contract for $710,000. Mind you, the seller accepted an FHA contract, $710,000, and they were putting quite a bit of money down. They have to get it down to where it needs to be, and relatively quick close, but a contingency. Now their house, my buyers, their house is already been under contract, made it through due diligence, waiting for the appraisal to come in, supposed to close in May. So we lined up back-to-back closings. This house sits on 7.1 acres in Woodstock. So I'm looking at this, and they called me over the weekend to say they've terminated the contract because there's something going on with the house. So they went out Sunday and wrote a contract on another house in Alpharetta for $680,000. That was a joke. They didn't even, I actually called the listing agent, spoke to her. She was really sweet, but she says, Greg, we've already got 4 other contracts. They're all higher than that. They're all conventional. We're just going to take one of those. So my agent, who doesn't work in this office, she's over visiting this morning with this client. And, you know, I already have the termination in hand, and I told my team, do not terminate that loan. Why not? Because I know what's going to happen. The call that I'm sure he called me for, Greg, don't terminate. We're going to go back to them and see if they'll make there was some structural things they had to do to the house. But I said, where are you going to get 7.1 acres in Woodstock, on this side of Woodstock, close to the, Alpharetta area, on 7 acres of land, and the house itself, other than a few things. I said, so ask them for $15,000 of repair work. Take it off your closing expenses, and then do the work yourself after you buy the house. Otherwise, you're going to be getting a quarter. Think about it. What you said, Jeff, Bill, what you said, that's what's going on. People have got to take action. Don't sit around and wait. Show them this. Tell them, make your investment wherever you want. So I hope you'll use this. And again, make it your own, but use this and post it. It'll stay up here. I'm not going to erase it. It'll be on video. So, folks, we're going to have a great end of the year. Let's go.